Hi everyone, welcome to episode 6 of the Journey to 2000 Fide. It's been quite a while since I've made the last video, just, I don't know, that is what it is, but today's video we're going to go over the last match that I played 2 weeks ago, and it was the semifinals of the competition that we have in France in Paris between all the different clubs. And it could have been really, really interesting because basically, if we won this match, we were supposed to go on to the championship. But I guess something happened with the pairings of another club where one team completely forfeited. So the team we were like competing against just got an immediate win 4-0. So like even if we were to have won 4-0, every single one of our teammates, winning, we still wouldn't have passed. I don't really get how that works, but anyways, our captain had told us that just before the match started. So that was the context. My opponent this time was a guy named Frederic. He was the team captain, and he's rated 1794 Fide. I technically am 1755 Fide, so yes, my rating has gone up. It's pretty cool. But in the context of this team match, my Fide rating stays the same at 1615, the same as it was in October. But just to show you guys where my actual Fide is in terms of my level. So I have the white pieces, and let's just get started. I play d4 as always. I was going over this whole thing, but I was doing it in French because I'm having to notate everything in French, and it's I have to switch my brain back to English. Okay, so d5, bishop f4, and then an immediate c5. Pretty typical, guys, of with all these games that I've been playing lately. I play much faster in the opening. I don't know, I just like it if I know that I'm in theory and I'm pretty confident about my moves. I feel like it can show the opponent that you know what you're doing, you're in theory, and also you start gaining an advantage on the clock. If I really need to spend the time, usually I do. But keep in mind, at this point, I think right here, my opponent has already, he was already starting to think. So I noted the time here so I play e3, and I was really, actually, by the time he played c5, I was really hoping he was not going to go for the queen b6, sometimes knight f6 and queen b6 stuff. It's kind of difficult to handle from the London. He goes bishop f5. And so yeah, by this point right here, I hadn't noted the clock yet. It was still pretty quick. I basically played bishop d3 right away. I've been liking the structure where bishop takes and then pawn takes, and you control the c4 and the e4 square. This was my first mistake because I just played a little bit too fast and didn't realize that after takes, he can take on d4, and I have this awful pawn structure if I take back. So as you guys will see, there was a lot of bluffing on my behalf in this game. He took right away. I took way too quickly without calculating this, because I don't really typically like taking with the queen. Otherwise, this would have been okay. If he takes, then let's see, I'm guessing queen takes is okay, or even pawn takes here because it doesn't double the pawns. Anywho, I take back. We get in this position, and I'm like, oh god, what have I done? But at this point, there's already a pretty significant time advantage. So my opponent, at this point, I'm at 1 hour and 32 minutes. My opponent is already at 1 hour and 23 minutes. So keep that in mind. My opponent's taking time to think and calculate, and I am too, but not much time. He takes. I decided I was going to take the knight, and I'll explain why. I was really concerned about this doubled pawn situation. I was pretty upset with myself because this was just silly to, play so quickly in the opening and end up just with a terrible pawn structure on move. What is this move, 5 or 6? So I calculated bishop takes, and then I don't know, something like if rook takes, then just check, whatever he does, doesn't matter. Then I pick it up, and this is okay. Same thing, if queen takes, check. Oh, I pick up I actually thought this would be good for white even. I can't remember why, but I thought this might even be really nice for white, because after I take back, knight can't attack me, my queen's in the center, looks okay to me. That, of course, didn't happen. I saw that he had queen a5 check, which he played. So queen a5 check, intermezzo move, or intermediate move, whatever. I block with the knight. I go knight d2. And all of this up until now, I had seen, I'd calculated. I figured he might throw this in first, throw d takes e3 in first before capturing the bishop. And I figured at this point, look, I somehow managed to save my pawn structure. All I want is like an easy position to play. And that's really what I've noticed about my games lately is my style of play as a chess player right now, especially in classical games, is give me a good position where I know what to do, the plans, like give me a good center, let me get my king to safety, and now let me just grind my opponent down. I'm less and less of like a crazy attacking player because oftentimes sacrifices just simply don't work and you start seeing ghosts and stuff. So I'm much more of like, give me a free pawn and now let me convert and just trade everything down to a winning end game and take the very like safe path to victory. Anywho, so I saw this all, right? Like F takes C3. Peter says it's a mistake, whatever. Rook takes, knight F3. And this looks like okay to me. Like I have technically some kind of center here. I'm going to be able to castle, get the rook on an open F file. So he goes E6, I castle, bishop. Gosh, I'm so slow right now. Bishop D6, and then boom, knight G5. I decided that I made this decision here because I knew that my opponent was slightly better. And as you guys can see here, black is actually better, significantly better. And I knew that. So I decided, look, you know what? At this point, I think I was already like psychologically, and I was like, well, this is kind of a wrap. Like I know I'm playing technically a stronger opponent according to our rating. I messed up the opening. You know what? Might as well play aggressively and tricky. If I know that I'm going down, I'm not going to go down without a fight. I'm going to try to, make it tricky and complicated. So I go knight G5. Going to put pressure on F7. I did kind of miss this move, knight F6. I was thinking maybe he would go just knight H6, which is pretty terrible looking. And I think to that I had just like queen F3, but he goes knight F6, and I was like, oh yeah, you can just block everything with knight F6, a normal developing move here. At this point, let's see, I was worried about the move queen B6, forking the pawns. And so, I can't remember. So yeah, knight B3 here. I wanted to, why did I play this? There was a reason behind it. And I was debating between, I think, this and queen F3, because if queen F3 right away, queen B6, which I guess doesn't actually, oh, I would hang the knight. Whoops. So yeah, no, queen F3 does not work. It hangs the knight. I can't really remember. Anyways, I decided to go knight B3 here. Yeah, I think because if queen B6, now I go queen F3 and everything's defended. Everything's defended, period. And, it's not the worst knight in the world. So I think this is what actually happened in the game. Computer did not like that. Again, guys, I'm just playing aggressive, dubious moves. I'm not looking to play solid chess because I know that I'm losing. I'm trying to make it complicated and tricky. So I decided to go for this dubious, cheeky attack on the king side that clearly does not work all that much. But I thought, okay, there might be some ideas. My opponent doesn't play sharply. They might mess up and I can have chances here. So queen H3, F6, and H6. I saw this and I was like thinking, okay, he's going to play H6 and then I'm going to sack on F7. Oh my God, this is actually the best move. I was so convinced this didn't work. Well, I mean, maybe it doesn't because black is still winning, but I didn't think this worked. So basically what I was calculating in my head was rook takes F6, and then, oh, boom, okay, thanks for the rook. I'm going to take the rook. And I literally just hallucinated that the pawn was not here on H6, so that it would be mate. So he wouldn't be able to take the rook. He'd have to take the knight. And then at this point, what was I thinking here? I guess I was just thinking like rook back, queen here, rook, and like build up some kind of battery. It's super slow, but yeah, I don't know. I was just going for an attack. So I take on F6, but right when I played this move, you could tell my opponent did not expect it and took some time to think. And so let me just give you guys a quick update on the time. 15. Here I'm at 1 hour and 10 minutes. My opponent is already at 44 minutes. Big time advantage. And as soon as I play this move, I just think, oh my God, I'm so stupid. Oh, Jesus. Like it doesn't work. I just thought this doesn't work. I tried not to let it show too much. I don't know if he picked up on it or not, but anyways, he takes the knight, which was kind of cool because it showed to me, at least, he bought it. He bought my bluff. For all intents and purposes, this was a bluff. I didn't know what it would be. I thought I actually had something here, but it doesn't work. But he believed it. And so he took the knight because he thought, well, if I take the rook, this is going to be dangerous. It's not. Taking the rook is the best move. I have nothing. I thought maybe here I would have a forced draw. Is this not? Yeah. So I thought, hey, at the very least, this guy's higher rated than me. I could force a draw, and that'd be kind of funny, right? Like here, whatever. I thought that'd be kind of funny just to have like in my pocket. But anyways, this is what happened. I go rook back to f3. My opponent goes f5, and all of a sudden I'm like, so before he played it, I was calculating for my opponent. I thought, yep, f5 is the best move for sure. It looks pretty aggressive, kind of exposing the king, but like I have no attack going on. It's the best move. It's clear. He played it, and I thought, okay, this is not looking good for Big Wes here. So f5, this here I took quite a long time. So this is move 16, and basically I was at an hour and 10 minutes, and I used 7 minutes. So it went down to an hour and 3 minutes. So I only used 7 minutes, but for me that felt like a long time here. Eventually I found the move g4. I just thought there's no way that I can, I'm trying to think here. I can't move the queen. The queen is actually going to get trapped soon here. I think if I go like queen h5, which is what I was looking at. Let's see here. Queen h5, g4. The rook has to go back. That's right. Rook has to go back, and then here, and then I have to take, otherwise I'm losing my rook pretty much. Take, bishop takes. Can't move my rook. Oh, I can. Well, did I miscalculate this? I was thinking this was pinned maybe. Rook f3. Okay, well, I was just seeing that I thought maybe this was pinned and that the queen would take that, and then it's just like totally game over. And so I saw that and thought, all right, g4 is the only move that stops this. It really looks kind of sketchy with my king here. It's super weak, but somehow everything's defended. I'm not dropping the e-pawn. I calculated that takes, and then he would have rook f3, or sorry, rook f8, which is not great, but I saw this position. So I had to calculate it all the way up to here. I do actually think that my calculation is getting better, but as you guys will see, there's still tons of mistakes. But I feel more confident. I feel like I'm able to calculate further and further into the position. So I saw this, and then rook f6, I calculated up until this move, and then rook f6 was played. I decided to keep, going with this sort of dubious attack. Like, I got to create some chances here. He gave me the c file. I'm going to take it. He can't play bishop c5. He doesn't have anything that's controlling c8. So rook c1, queen goes back. I thought, yeah, I can go rook f1 here, but I'm losing that endgame. Like, my opponent has a pawn more than I do. And I don't know, I just decided not to. I made a worse decision. I decided for some reason to go e4 because I thought it might be interesting. Something like this. I'm threatening to fork the pieces. To be honest, I don't really remember exactly what I was thinking at this point. I just wanted to, I didn't see anything that worked. Like, I was calculating knight d4, and like, what else do I do here? I can't move the rook yet. I can't do anything on the f file. Like, what do I do here? My king is totally exposed. There's nowhere I can move the king that's like really any better. So anyways, I go e4. E4, queen takes. Okay, black is still winning, obviously. Queen f8. And here, I think, okay, well, I can take b7. I'm pretty sure I can just take b7. He has nothing. Like, if he goes here, he loses his queen. I'm just winning that. Just to show you guys, rook f2. Ooh, looks scary. No threat at all. Thank you for the queen. You can even do this. You can do whatever you want. It doesn't matter. I'm winning this. You're losing your queen. So I'm like, okay, well, surprisingly, my opponent has nothing. And I have something now. Now material is even, and I have threats of my own. He goes bishop takes h2. Just to give you guys a quick update on time here, we're on move 24. And by the way, you only get, so it's an hour and 30 minutes for these games, plus 30 minutes after the 40th move. So it has to be move 40. We're only on move 26 right now. No, 20, what did I just say? 24. And the time is, I have 52 minutes to 13 minutes. So big time advantage again. My opponent is starting to crack. it shows by bishop takes h2. I calculated it. Oh my god, I can't speak. I had calculated this, and saw that it didn't work. Like, as far as I could tell, it didn't work. There's no threats, and I was surprised that he actually played it, because this guy seemed like a pretty solid, sort of cautious, solid player. I said solid twice. Oh, guys, look, you know what? Hey, I had a little drinky poo. It's Saturday night. I'm not going to apologize anymore. Anyways, bishop takes h2. I take, and at this point, I'm like, oh my god, I'm winning. Or I feel like at least the tables have turned, and I have chances now. He played a sacrifice. He sacrificed the bishop, and I was pretty sure it didn't work, and I was right. So king takes h2. Unfortunately, I was looking at rook f2 check and then king g1, thinking, yeah, like, I'm totally fine here. You can't play this. You can't, like, what are you going to do? I thought, I calculated this, I believe, and then queen f4, like, ooh, this looks scary. But the reality is my threats are faster, I'm pretty sure. So I have rook c8 check first, king's forced over here, and then queen e4 check forces I had seen this. Forces the queens off. This is a win. He didn't play that, and I actually missed queen d6 check, so I kind of panicked for a second. I was like, oh god, maybe I am getting mated. I had a moment of, I'm getting checkmated. And so king g2, found the best move here. It was pretty obvious. Like, it was pretty obvious that was the only move that kept me alive. And queen takes d3. I didn't really see this move all that much. Like, there's only one move here, so I just thought, well, I'm not going to spend forever on this move. I'm just going to play king g2, and we'll see what's happening. Queen takes d3, and now it's my turn. And I was, at this point, still pretty convinced that I was winning this. As long as I get the first check, I think that there's a checkmating net. And at the very least, I am up material, so if I trade, I'm winning. Queen c8 check, because... Okay. You're not supposed to see that. Queen c8 check. I calculated, because if rook blocks, so he could have played this, then I have queen takes c6 check, picking up the pawn, and this is just clearly winning. King here. In fact, this is checkmate. So it's forced mate. If he were to block, that would have been pretty concerning if I didn't have queen takes e6 check. He plays king h7. This is not actually the best move. This is, as you guys can see, theoretically a draw if black plays it right. If black plays king f7. And this, I saw that, okay, basically I have to follow up with rook c7 check. King goes here, queen check, and then what was I looking at? Here? King f5. That would be a miss because of queen h5. What? How am I not getting checkmated here? Okay, well, apparently white is winning here. I saw this, I was calculating all these lines, and I saw that, okay, if the king starts escaping here, I can try to cover the light squares with this check so he's not escaping this way. But I was convinced, yeah, like, intuitively, that it was not the best move. It was black's best chance. Here, I was sure that I'm winning, and I am. So white is now winning. King h7 is a mistake. It might look really tempting to play rook h1 check, but that's what so this is what I had calculated. Rook h1 check, king here, queen check. This is what I had seen, was I can force a trade, but this actually, the computer doesn't like. It wants, what did I say? Queen b5 check. What? Oh, wow, that is really fancy. Okay. Yeah. Okay, that's pretty fancy, but it works. Yeah, I didn't see that far. I just saw that, okay, I have this check, and maybe I can force some material off, but my king's really exposed, and if he starts checking me, I was like, yeah, I want forcing moves. So, and then all of a sudden, we're here. And I realized, oh my god, I have queen c2 check. I realized just before he played, if he plays king h7, I can force the queens off the board. I'm winning this thing. And I'm like super excited at this point. I'm super excited. I can finish this game. I can go home, sort of early. It's a Sunday. I want to go home and hang out with my wife and chill out. Rook f3, doesn't matter. Anything I'm doing here is pretty much winning. I thought maybe I'll bring the rook up. I'll let you, well, he can't even go rook d2 check to get on the second rank. But I just thought, like, I can go here and literally black can't do anything. Like, what are you going to do? You can't do anything. The rook covers the whole second rank. You have no checks, and I'm just going to start maneuvering my knight and pick up the pawns, and I don't know. So I go here, and then king g6, and I thought I'm just going to be really annoying. This is where I like to, this is where I feel like I'm slowly and slowly becoming a better chess player, especially in the end game, is I try to find forcing wins and just grind your opponent down. So what I mean by that is, okay, king g6, what does my opponent want to do? He wants to get his king in the position. If he gets his king in the position, it gets really tricky with these pass pawns. What am I going to do? I ain't going to let that happen. I'm going to play rook f2 and say, what are you going to do? Can't go rook here. You go anywhere else, and I'll just trade the rooks off and win this game. And I just thought, okay, how can I make this, prophylaxis? How can I just make this impossible for my opponent to win? And that's what I tried to do here in any case. So I remaneuvered the knight to c3. And like the rest of this guy is just somewhat straightforward. I did at this point get a little bit worried, like, okay, I can't stop his king from getting in. And if his king starts getting in, attacking my rook and pushing this, this pass pawn, this could get kind of dicey. So here I started taking some time to think, and we're on move 36. So at this point, there's not the added 30 seconds. We're on move 36, and my opponent is down to 1 minute and 45 seconds. So yeah, he was already down to like 5 minutes, 4 minutes, 3 minutes. He's down a lot, but it's 30 seconds each move. So at the same time, it's not anything crazy. I'm down to 38 minutes here. I have the time. E3, rook g2, king g5. Here, yeah, I was kind of like, okay, I know I'm winning. Need to be careful though. I go king d3, because you can't push the pawn, and I want to start, I don't know, just centralizing my king and attacking the rook. King f4 here, and I had seen this, that king f4 looks really sketchy. If he somehow gets in here with his king attacking my rook and pushing that pawn, that looks pretty scary. Luckily, I saw that I have knight e2 check. It's the only move that, I think every other move is probably okay, but no, barely. Rook g1 is the second best move. Look at the eval bar. Now it's almost even. So knight e2 is the only move that keeps the advantage for white, because, and I was glad to have found this. You go here, boom, check, and then for a second I thought this was actually mate, and I was really excited, but no, check. King goes here, and I guess I pick up the pawn. What's happening here? Rook takes g4, but if he goes, yeah, so if he goes check, I can just block. He didn't do that. He didn't do that. He didn't have the time to calculate, I think, and I think he believed me. I play this move saying, go ahead and play f4. Come on down here, see what happens. Sorry, I played this move. I played knight e2 saying, go ahead. And okay, so he goes rook a5. Clearly at this point, like, black is just desperate. Like, there's nothing. You have nothing to do or attack, really. The knight's defending the rook. I'm defending the knight. I'm keeping an eye on these passed pawns. You can go here, but it doesn't really do anything. And you can attack these pawns, but that doesn't really do anything either. So a3, I get a free pawn. Rook d5 check. Again, this is just completely winning for white. Black is trying to keep the game going. And let me give you some context at this point. Maybe a lot of you guys can relate to this. I'm a very patient person. I will never comment, on someone's behavior, or, I try to be very, very respectful and patient, as a person in general, although not always, but also, especially as a chess player, I think it's important to be respectful and, anyways. But at this point, obviously there's a part of me that's like, please just resign. Like, we know that this is winning. At the same time, I had another voice in my head that's like, well, but no, he does have 3 pawns to 2 pawns. So he's got a pawn for that. I would also keep playing. But at this point, my opponent whips out, I think he had some kind of snack bar, and then a banana. And so we're sitting there, and this is what I'm hearing. Okay, a little bit of ASMR for you guys. We're playing, and I'm hearing, and I it drives me crazy. It's driving me crazy. I swear. I know I've had people comment on my YouTube videos before. Someone was telling me about how they have, it's not a phobia, I don't think, but maybe it is, of just gross noises and, certain noises that really disturbs people. And I remember answering that person like, oh, I don't know, maybe meditation can help and this and that. And here I am in this match, just being like, oh my God, this, like, dude, close your mouth. Why are you breathing like that? Why are you, do you really have to, who eats like that? Who does that? Who goes, it's like, it was driving me insane. So we get to this point and he's doing that. He's like chowing down on bananas. And I'm like, you're losing. We know you're losing. Just please resign. So I had a little bit of like arrogance and, just impatience building up here. And the game goes on. Okay, he goes A5. Great. Let's just trade off. Like, trading is better for me. So now I have a pass pawn. And this is just closer and closer to an obvious victory. Rook F3. Last desperate chance here. Last desperate act, whatever. I go B5. Go ahead and take my rook if you want to. Go ahead and push if you want to and lose the rook. It doesn't matter. I'm going to start pushing. King H4. I go King E4. At this point, I don't even know what I was really thinking. I'm just thinking, well, you can't really get to that pawn very easily. I guess I saw that he had Rook F6, which he then played. I go King D5. I was thinking about getting my rook behind the B pawn, but I kind of thought, okay, if he starts pushing that pawn, like I'm probably going to have to sack my knight, and I need to know that that works. I need to know I'm winning that endgame. So we get here. He goes back to Rook F3. Long think here, which I kind of just spoiled, but long think. I get here, and I'm like, okay. I'm obviously not going to draw by repeating, 3 times, but I'm thinking I can go back with the king, put my rook on B3 and go for this and just push that pawn and say to my opponent, how are you going to stop that pawn? You can push this, you can do whatever you want. I'm going to sack the knight first, and then I'm going to queen and win this game. And it's a very pretty clear path to victory. Or I thought I could be fancy, calculate this whole thing out and say, oh, okay, you want me to take your rook? Well, I calculated better than you. I see that I'm still winning. And I am. But this looks really, really scary, right? Because rook takes, pawn takes, you're hitting my knight. If I go here, oh, you push. Oh my God, what's happening? I'm losing my... Well, no, because this is what happened. I took the rook. I went knight d4 because I had calculated that knight d4, if he pushes, this is what happened. If you push, check. I get my knight to e3. Now I'm controlling the queening square, and there's no way for you to stop this. And I mean, I can only calculate so far in my head. So I basically calculated up until here in my head, and I'm like, I'm winning this. But then we get to this position, and g5, b6, g4, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh God, did I mess this up? And, I have no idea what the computer would evaluate this. All I knew is that this was very tricky. I didn't know if I had blundered and actually black is winning or it's a forced draw or draw. I didn't know. Well, this is still mate in 9, but you have endgames. This is really what shows how complicated endgames are. And so I decide it's too dangerous to let this pawn roll because if he gets, let's just say here, I go b7. Okay, well, b7 is actually the best move here. I figured, why did I not play this? Here, yeah, I don't know. I saw this and that there, because if takes, he queens. Queen, let me just take a look at this, because I actually, I haven't analyzed this really for myself here. I saw that this is just clearly winning. But it's really sketchy, because both pawns are ready to queen. And so here, okay, here, queen e5 check. Queen h5 check, slowly getting the queen closer and closer, and checkmate. Okay. Well, where's the checkmate, actually? Queen g2 check. Yeah, okay, whoops, I'm blind. So I didn't know this. I didn't see this. And I bought into my opponent's bluff, I guess you could say. And at this point, I thought, oh God, well, we get to this point. He's going to get a queen. I'm going to get a queen. I'm super upset with myself. I had the choice. So if we go back here, this entire game, to me, what I will never forget here is when you guys have the choice between taking the sure victory, taking the path that you are pretty sure is forcing and winning, go for that. Don't try to be fancy unless you're really, really sure. Here, I could have just gone back, and then let's say he goes here, I go rook here, he goes here. What is the best move here? Knight takes g3 is still winning, so I can just literally sack the knight. Oh no, sorry, that doesn't work. Okay, he can't even go g3 here, and he can't move the king forward. So this is just clearly winning, right? I was thinking maybe he could actually push the pawn. He can't. Rook e6 check. Okay, he's starting to win the knight. King d3. He's going to give a bunch of checks. King c4. And this is kind of how I was thinking, that I would have to bring the king over this way. And like literally, good luck. What are you going to do here? You can never go g3 and you can never bring the king forward. All I need to do is make sure that I don't lose a knight for no reason. This was a easy victory. And here I had the choice and I tried to be fancy. And I was thinking, there's all these people watching too. We were like the last game. Everyone's watching. And I'm like, I'm going to show off a little bit and, show that I calculated this all in my head. And it turns out it actually would have worked. So knight g1 was also a possibility. I saw this because if he pushes, what is this? Knight f3 check. King goes anywhere. Doesn't matter. And then knight d2 also. Yeah, it works. Anything works here. Anyways, guys, so I tried to be fancy and get to this point and it cracked. And I thought, well, let's see here. If I go b7, he can actually go queen takes here, and he's queening no matter what. We both get a queen, which means it's basically a draw. Or he goes here, and I thought, well, I have to, do something. If I queen, either way, it doesn't matter, as far as I can tell. Now this is just queen. He queens, I take with the knight. I save the knight and queen myself and think, well, I don't know, it's queen and knight versus king and, well, king, queen, knight versus king and queen. I thought maybe, like, technically I'm better, but really it's still a draw, especially because black now has all the checks. And this was a good lesson in endgame because basically from here on out, black just gave me a ton of checks. This game went on for another hour. That was kind of silly of me. I could have just resigned, but I didn't know this endgame well enough to know that it's basically just a draw unless black makes a mistake. I thought, well, black might make a mistake. He's pretty low on time still. And if he's not careful, I have forks. And so anyways, I kept playing this out until finally black was out of checks. And there was this moment too where black realized, the guy realized that there was no more checks. And I thought, oh, the tables have turned, but still there was no path to victory. He basically just at any point can put his queen in front of the king to block my checks, and I can't ever really move my knight closer without giving him the opportunity to start getting my king checks. And I can't obviously ever trade queens or it's immediate draw. So this was like a 5-hour game. I was pretty upset because I had a clear win, and through it. At the same time, I did not play. I mean, my opponent was winning, so I'll show you guys here the eval bar. Oh Jesus, what? Hold on, guys. Sorry. I don't even know why this is like this. Okay. Where is my camera to? Hang on, guys. Up. Camera is cam. There we go. So, I don't know, whatever. This is fine for now. This is good enough. Basically, as you guys can see, the game review goes, black is winning pretty early out of the opening. Black had an advantage, and then in the tide's turn, white's winning, and then I completely throw it. And so at the same time, I can't be super, super upset because black should have won that, like, from the beginning. I just got kind of lucky, if you want to call it that he bought my bluff and that he didn't play the rest of it all that well. Still, like, I could have gone, this would have been, I think it would have been 6 wins and only one loss in the entire season, which I think also means, to be honest with you guys, I think that I could play in the next class up. Like, if I'm winning almost every single game that I play, I did feel like I was, like I should be between 1750-ish to even 1800 on a good day. And most of my opponents were in this season were like from 1500 to 17, 1800. So anyways, we drew. after a long time. Like the captain and everyone had to stay there and wait to close the chess club. I could have just resigned, but they're obviously not going to just, be like, Wesley, dude, resign. It's a draw. Why? Like, can we just go home? And so yeah, that's the last classical game of the season. Now I'm going to be. My plan is to be doing some over the board tournaments, and I just actually played in a little rapid tournament, unofficial rapid tournament at my chess club last night. And yeah, I'm just going to try to do some over the board classical tournaments to keep it going throughout the summer. A lot of maybe some rapid tournaments, but one thing I will say is I've realized that I really like classical chess now. I really, really like the format. Maybe it's just because I've been winning a lot, but I like it. So anyways, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Have a great day.